It's summer in the early 2010s. Vampires and zombies are all the rage, the music was good, the movies were actually funny, and the video games were at their peak. This was the first console generation where you were introduced to online gaming, and if you were anything like me and my friends, you were hooked like a mosquito at a blood bank. You'd spend a weekend, or heck, even an entire week at your friend's house if their mom was cool with it, and do nothing but play video games. The freezers were filled with frozen pizza, the cabinets held bags upon bags of Doritos, and carbonation ran through our veins. You had never even paid attention to the word anxiety, and depression was something you might randomly hear adults talk about. It was the life. You had no worries, no stress, and no obligations. I genuinely hope that you got to experience something like this in your teenage years. And if you did, join the DN Alliance. Sit back, relax, and reminisce about how simple life used to be. Disclaimer! Before we bounce into these forgotten PS3 gems, please be aware that watching this video may result in uncontrollable nostalgia, wallet woe from buying too many retro video games, and a deep desire to give your old console a hug. If you think I missed one, tell me and let me know in the new and improved comment section. And if you'd like to see a part 2 to this video, just like it. And as always, there will be absolutely no spoilers shown in my content. Now, enough with the formalities. Let's get to gaming. And up first, we have a game made by indie developer Rockstar, and we're hitting the streets of Los Angeles not as a tourist, mind you, but as a fearless racer in Midnight Club Los Angeles. This game is a virtual Fast and Furious without the triple B, Buff Bald Boys. Midnight Club Los Angeles is all about living life in the fast lane, and I mean literally. This game is your ticket to the City of Angels, where there are less halos and a whole lot more horsepower. You'll be burning rubber and breaking the sound barrier as you zip through the endless streets of LA, competing in underground races that are more insane than your uncle's recipe for a bologna cake. This picture actually made me gag. The story here, well, it's not exactly Shakespeare, but why do you need Shakespeare when you've got exotic cars, NOS, and an entire police department to pick on? You'll be making your way through the ranks, challenging rivals, and customizing your ride until it's the automotive equivalent to a superhero suit. The car customization in the game is more detailed than your notes during a 5-hour lecture on the history of paper clips. You can tweak everything from the interior lighting to which state you want on your license plate. The first time I played Midnight Club, I thought I was the king of the road, but then I got overtaken by a computer-controlled car with the confidence of a movie star on the red carpet. It'll sometimes feel as though you're racing against an AI with a PhD in road rage, because this game is painfully difficult. When I was a wee little lad in high school, I almost cried because this game is so hard. Because they have these pink slip races with no restart option, and if you see you're about to lose and you try to outsmart and do something that Rockstar would never think of, like turning your console off, you will boot up the game just to go back in your garage and find that you lost the car anyways. Like a chump. Like a stupid little pea-brain chump. All while Rockstar's just sitting there watching, laughing, and calling you names. It'll break your heart like that malicious girl from high school that you thank God for daily that you didn't wind up marrying. But on the rare occasion that you do achieve victory, you feel as though you have completed boot camp in the military, or conquered Mount Everest, or finally achieved the proudness your parents feel when they see you after years of disappointment. Anyway, Midnight Club Los Angeles is truly a forgotten PS3 gem that lets you live out your wildest street racing fantasies, be the full-throttle thrill seeker you truly are, and gain all the street cred one can handle. Just don't play the pink slip races unless you're 100% confident in your abilities. And next on the list is the gritty world of Dead to Rights Retribution. But hold on to your butts, cause it's got more twists and turns than your neck after you've experimented with a new pillow. Meet Jack Slate and his side pup Shadow. They are both employed by the Grant City Police Department, and they're both our brutally savage protagonists. A cop and his dog against the world. It's like Lethal Weapon meets Air Bud. The gameplay is a mixtape of close-quarter combats, gunfights, and a dash of stealth with a hint, just a hint, of police brutality. That joke was in poor taste. Hey, who wrote this? You did, stupid. Alright, imagine if John Wick and the Dog Whisperer had a baby, and that baby was a video game, and they made that little baby watch stuff like John Wick, Balto, and complete walkthrough of the Metal Gear Solid games. That little baby video game would grow up to be dead to rights. You see, back in the day, it might not have gotten the recognition it deserved because it was buried under bigger titles. I mean, it was released between these two monsters and surrounded by all of these. Maybe buried is an understatement. 2010 was such a good year for video games. But anyway, now the story, it's a lot like the human brain. It's a sad, dark road of betrayals, conspiracies, and plot twists. It's really just there to give you a vague reason of why you should run around and shoot people. But if you can keep up with it, you deserve a detective badge of your own. And if you look at the graphics, considering that this game is a teenager, it still holds up amazingly well. The game's atmosphere, gritty settings, and intense sound design make you feel like you're playing your very own crime drama. One of the best parts of the game is that they let you play as Jack's lovingly vicious canine colleague. Hey Shadow, go tear that guy's pork sword to shreds. Attaboy Shadow. This Joker will perform moves that'll make the backside of your legs go numb. For those of you who remember playing this back in the day, there's a massive nostalgia factor. It's the equivalent of revisiting an old friend that you thought was really cool back in the day, and visiting them again years later, realizing that they're even cooler than you remembered, and now they're an entire new level of cool. They're super cool. To wrap it up, Dead to Rights Retribution is one of those games that deserve a second look. It's a crime noir adventure that's a bit rough around the edges, but it's the kind of rough that adds character. So if you're ready for some unforgettable action and gameplay that'll keep you hooked, give this one a shot. See what I did there? Now grab your controllers and a cold beverage because we're plundering deep into the sands of Dubai with Spec Ops The Line, a controversial title that was well received and published by 2K back in the summer of 2012. This game sticks you in the boots of Captain Martin Walker, played by none other than the I can't believe it's Nolan North. You're in the city of luxury, and it's definitely not for the beach or the tax-free shopping. It's for some seriously messed up stuff, because this game isn't about high fives, explosions. In America, heck yeah, it's more like war. What is it good for? And the answer is absolutely nothing. It explores the dark side of war, and it's the kind of stuff that regular action heroes sweep under the virtual rug. You're faced with choices that'll make you question your sanity, probably even the dev's sanity, and both of your moral compasses. With decisions like, do I execute this guy or do I execute the other guy? It feels as though you're playing a never-ending round of would you rather, but with consequences that genuinely hurt your soul. This game doesn't let you off the hook either. It's got that not-so-subtle way of making you feel like a horrible person, kind of like when you forget to call your grandma on her birthday, but on a more massive scale. But you see, this is what's unique about Spec Ops. It's what sets it apart from all the other mindless shooters out there. It reminds us that war isn't a playground. It's not all, let's have a 1v1 quick scope match with the final kill needing to be a no scope 360. No sir, it's got real consequences, and they're uglier than your attempts at a homemade haircut during quarantine. So in the grand scheme of video games, Spec Ops The Line is like the grumpy uncle at a family pool party. It doesn't just play around, it throws you headfirst in the deep end of the dark and twisted world of moral decisions and war's harsh reality. So if you're looking for a regular hoorah type shooter, you might be in for a surprise. This game is a good time, but it'll also make you wonder if you truly are a good person or not, and quite possibly make you want to hug your conscience just a little bit tighter after you put the controller down. And next we're jumping into a time-bending action game that's so under the radar it might as well be in another dimension. Singularity. Released in 2010, developed by Ravensoft, the guys who made this game and helped with all of these. It was an FPS that had you investigating a time anomaly on a remote island in former Soviet Union. It's as if someone took BioShock, Call of Duty, and put a little dash of Metro 2033 and then forced some kind of sci-fi thriller down its throat, threw them in a blender, and voila, you've got yourself a Singularity smoothie. First off, the cast for the voice actors hits harder than your drunk uncle in a mosh pit at a tone-deaf metal concert. First up the bat, they have Nathan Drake, aka Deadpool, aka Captain Walker from our previous title, or as white people like to call him, Nolan North.
If you hadn't come along, I'd be dead.
Second, you have Steve Bloom, the guy who talks for the animated Wolverine.
I have some questions for you.
You also got Joel, or Sam Drake, Or if you like to go by a street name, Troy Baker, they were hitting some dingers with this voice cast. Then there's the guy who always plays the Overlord voice in military games.
Spartan team, maintain present speed and heading.
It's got everybody. And the biscuits and jelly of this game is that it lets you manipulate time using the TMD, or Time Manipulation Device. You can age objects, reverse time, and pull off some gnarly tricks. Now watch me as I age this enemy soldier. Oops, now he's a grandpa. He can barely hold his gun, look at him. If you've ever played Atomic Heart, this game is that game's granddaddy. But the real fun starts when you deal with those nightmarish creatures on the island. You'll be needing your wits, BOB, pack of bullets, and the TMD to survive. And if you focus on the story side of things, it's all about time manipulation gone wrong, an island stuck in a never-ending cycle, and the secret Soviet base. I don't want to give too much away. It is a journey worth experiencing for yourself. Pretty much, this game feels like BioShock and Metro 2033, but has the smooth, crisp gameplay of the FPS juggernaut itself. It truly is a forgotten gem. It's an absolute blast, and trust me, you won't regret giving it a go. Next is a game that's not necessarily forgotten by the fans, but 100% forgotten by the developers. Prototype. Now don't expect any good behavior from me during this gameplay because, well, it's not my style. So let's go get ready and wreak havoc on the Big Apple. In Prototype, you play as Alex Mercer, a dude who wakes up in a morgue having a rougher morning than anyone I know. You're infected with this mysterious virus which doesn't turn you into a zombie, but instead a super-powered beast. We also have shape-shifting shenanigans, where you have powers like turning your arms into giant claws or your fist into Hulk-sized wrecking balls. You're basically a walking Swiss Army knife, but with more chaos and fewer wine openers. And the best part? You can hijack other people's bodies. Stealth? Nah. Just hijack someone's identity and suddenly you're Bob from accounting wrecking havoc on the city. Oh, and you'll love running up buildings, jumping around skyscrapers, and gliding around the city like a maniac. Forget Spider-Man. This is Spider-Madman. No need to be responsible. Smash through everything like you're on a mission to win Wrecking Ball of the Year. The game is a playground for destruction, tossing cars, hurling people, and unleash the fury of your powers. The story, it's, let's say it's interesting. Kind of a bit like trying to explain your favorite Spanish soap opera to someone who doesn't speak Spanish and they don't even know what an opera is. All you need to know is you're a monster with a heart of gold. Prototype isn't just a game, it's a fantastic, chaotic thrill ride. And if you've ever dreamt of being a shape-shifting, city-destroying, identity-stealing maniac, then this is your jam. Well folks, it's time to unplug and wind down this trip through our amazing memories. The games from this generation were more than just pixels on a screen, they were our time machines back to a more simple era. So don't forget to drag out your PS3 and play some of your old games, because even though they might be collecting dust on your shelf, they're still there, just like that one embarrassing Facebook photo that you thought you deleted. If you made it this far, let me pour out a genuine thank you. I was happy when my videos would get over 100 views. Now I have over 100 subscribers, and that's literally insane. So thank you again. And don't forget to smash that I want superpowers button to see what forgotten games we discover together next time here on Dynamite Nunchucks. Turn that console on!